welcome to week 2 of October. I promise parents and grandparents and teacher helpers, whoever's here, to make this video a lot shorter than last week. But I did want to kind of go over, I know I've been able to check in with a lot of you. I know I'm still missing a few kiddos, trying to squeeze you in for our little monthly check-ins. So if I haven't chatted with you yet, I promise I will try to make it to you. But some questions have been coming up that I wanted to kind of go over again, the same as last week. Like, our little honeymoon phase is over. The kiddos are going to have a tricky time listening to mom. Like, even when it's me with the kiddos, we kind of hit this point where they have to see the purpose in what they're doing, okay? Nobody likes busy work. Nobody likes to just do things to do things. So a lot of these activities, I'll try to tell them why we're doing it, but you can reinforce that. And I will share with you, I have some behavior charts, and I've got like Star Wars ones and superhero ones and princess ones and colored ones and all sorts of different behavior charts that I've created. And those are fantastic for, like, anytime my kiddos finish a paper, I let them put a sticker on their sticker chart. And there's 20 spots. So once they've done 20 things for the week, then they get some kind of like prize or treat or reward. I like to go and buy a bunch of little silly things from the dollar store. And then at the beginning of the week, they pick out, okay, like, what prize are you earning this week? And then we put a sticker on our sticker chart for each activity that they do. And then at the end of the week, they get that prize because they've usually done about 20 things by the end of the week. And it is $1 well spent, I tell you what. But that is a great motivator if they're having a hard time, like, wanting to do some of the projects. And then the other thing that kind of goes in with that is be careful what your expectations are. Some kiddos, like, I just kind of want to show you the difference. So some kiddos are going to give you this type of work, okay? This is Jackson's. It's beautifully colored. It's carefully cut out. It is very pleasing to the adult eye because everything's colored nicely. Some of your kiddos are going to color like this. Awesome, okay? Now, some of your kiddos are going to be more like Olivia, okay? It's crazy. She used a pencil, refused to color the other pumpkin. She was done. She just wanted to cut. So we just went with it, okay? The purpose of this activity was to get in a little fine motor skills. Can she use some scissors? Can she do her glue? Can she color a little bit to strengthen those muscles? If it's not done like this, that's totally fine too, okay? The idea was, can she match? Does she understand matching the shapes? Because these pumpkin shapes look a little weird. And can she do a little bit of coloring? But otherwise, if it turns out like this, that's fine. The paper, the activity, it served its purpose. We're gonna move on. So don't pressure. If I tried to pressure her to do work like this, it would have been a huge battle, ending in both of us crying. She probably would have thrown something. So this is not where I want you to go. This might not be an appropriate expectation for your child. This might be a more appropriate expectation for your child. She colored a little bit, she cut a little bit, she did glue by herself. It was a win to me, okay? So be a little bit careful about your expectations. Like, I wanted to show you the difference as well. Like, this was Olivia, this was Jackson, okay? So carefully colored, carefully bingo dotted. Olivia, at least I got some of them where she was attempting to go on the dots, and then all of a sudden we just went a little crazy. She attempted the activity. I at least could see she could understand the idea of dotting on the dots, and we went with it. We were done. I didn't push it. She didn't want to bingo dot or color the things, so I said, fine, we're moving on. So just be aware of that. Like, there'll be certain things where you do want to push the envelope and say, no, I want you to do this, but don't force the issue. Like, on the bingo dot thing, coloring these pumpkins was not the purpose of the activity, so it wasn't worth the fight. So as you're going through some of these things, like, be careful, like, what you're asking them to do. Find out, like, where are you willing to do battle? You're gonna have good days and bad days. There are gonna be days where they're just on it and they're cruising. Run with it. Add some extra activities in. Or there's days where you're gonna have bad days and they're just gonna have nothing to do with it. Then stop and put those things, like I know this has some other preschool stuff in, but I just bought some of these little like folders, and anything of Olivia's that she's just not having it that day, I just put it in that folder, and we're gonna save it for a day where she's interested. And then usually I'll find a day where she wants to do it, and we finish them off. So since we are in this new realm of like distance learning, at home learning, homeschool kind of mumbo jumbo, just keep that in mind that they might not want to do an hour and a half a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like it just might not be where they're at, okay? And that's totally fine. So the idea is, can we introduce them to as many learning activities as we possibly can? And then that's great. We're doing what we're meant to do. And I just was kind of sitting with it this week, even with my older kids, like 3rd grade and kindergarten and preschool. And I just was asking myself, like, why online preschool? Like, what is my purpose for doing it this way? Because we could just say, no preschool, just go play. But I really believe that going through some of these steps, as awkward as they are, as weird as it is, that we are going to set them up for some school success. Like this, just practicing these motions and listening to me talking and having to, get their area set up each day and trying to do some of it. Just even like, just getting there is something. If they don't do anything for the day, but at least you tried to set it up, you really are. Like if they come back to me, whether it's this year or next year, or they're going to kindergarten or whatever, I promise you their teacher will thank you for even the slightest bit that you were trying to do. Will make a huge difference for when they have to come back to me and I'm trying to get them used to a school routine and how to use scissors and how to use glue. If they've had you showing them some of these things, oh my gosh, you are doing wonderful work. So just know that, like, even if you feel like it's going crazy, when they get to go back into the classroom or as you further their homeschool curriculum, it will make such a difference. So don't give up. I know this month might be a little bit tricky, but I promise it will get better. I promise it will get easier, okay? And then just whatever academics we can do, their confidence, like you'll just see them start to realize like, oh my gosh, I can use scissors, or I can use glue, or I do know my letters, or I do know how to read words. Like these things that they'll just all of a sudden realize like, I can do this. Like watching them grow in that way is just amazing. Like I miss it that I don't get it, but I am so happy that you do as the mom, that you're going to be able to see them in the next couple months. Like they'll just have these moments of, I mean, it gives me goosebumps to think about it, but they'll just be like, oh my gosh, I can write my name, or I can use it. I mean, it's just so cool to watch them do those things of getting so excited about the stuff that they can do. So stick with it, even if it's tricky. Manage those expectations of what is appropriate, what's good for them. It's okay to push and to have high standards, but make sure that you're not making it, miserable for the both of you. And then I just wanted to throw in some ideas. I saw Elsie's mama, Diana, posted on Instagram, and I thought it was such a cute thing. So a lot of the stuff that I give you guys, like the little pumpkin cards. So she had some of them, like of the number ones, and I'll show you. I have some number pumpkins too. So you don't just have to use these for the pumpkin mat. She had taped these up on her wall, and I thought that was such a cute game that I'm gonna do it for Olivia with her name, because that's where she's at 3, but I thought I'd put her Olivia up on the wall. Like she had taped them up all on a wall and then was having Elsie point to, like, there's a number 4, there's a number 10, there's a number 2, and I thought that was brilliant. So take these, like, or put them on the ground. That's always something fun we do with the kiddos. I'll put whatever it is we're learning, like wherever your kid's at, shapes, colors, numbers, letters, sight words, wherever they're at, put them on the floor. Use like painter's tape and put them on the floor, and then they can jump on the numbers. They could point to them on the wall, hide them in Play-Doh. Like, these are really fun to cover in Play-Doh, and they have to unwrap the Play-Doh and then tell you the number, tell you the letter, tell you the color. Seriously, wherever they're at, like whatever, when you've done those assessments, like what you have recognized they need to practice, do that, and it makes for so much more fun learning, and it's really cool to see what they can do. Like, even I was shocked at how many colors Olivia knew that even I didn't even know she knew. And it was like, oh my gosh, so we're gonna move on to shapes now. But I just thought that was such a fun game idea to like get creative with them, take them outside, you know, write letters in chalk on your sidewalk or your driveway or on your house, whatever you're comfortable with. Tape these up on the wall, like put them on the floor. Whatever you can do to make it silly is a great practice idea for when we do like those literacy center breaks or the math center break, or if you're having a day where they're just not having it, then call it and go do something fun. Like, the learning will be huge, okay? All right, I'm making another long video for you guys. I'm sorry, I just had to share that with you. But week 2 is pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully it's becoming a little bit easier for you guys to kind of get in the routine of things. We're just gonna do the pencil tray similar to, you know, last month with the apples. They could use a pencil, crayon, whatever. The letter B paper, we're gonna be talking about the letter B. We're also gonna be introducing the pumpkin life cycle. So this is something you could post somewhere for them just so they can start to really talk about it. Using those verbal skills are really important, especially with new vocabulary. So this is a tool that I like to use a lot if you want to. I also have them here for you that you can print out and cut out and do it really big. Like if you had a big empty wall in your house and you wanted to let them cut them out and use that painter's tape to kind of tape it up yourself and play with it. Or let it be like, if you cut these up and throw them in a tub, it could be like a centers activity. Like, can you put the circle together on your floor? Just kind of a fun way to do it. You can also print off the life cycle book if you want. This would be really fun for them to start to be able to read it to somebody, even if they can't read the actual words. But, you know, just looking at the pictures, they're gonna hear me read it a couple times. You'd be surprised what they pick up and could maybe even start reading. So that's kind of a fun activity. And then each day or each week, we're also gonna do the bingo dot again. So this time we're gonna talk about circles. So if shapes are something that's tricky for them, I really encourage you to really play with those shape cards and do maybe the same thing. Tape them on your wall, tape them on the floor, draw them outside, hide them in Play-Doh, hide them in sand, hide them in beans, whatever you need to do just to really talk about those shapes so it's really easy. And then we're gonna make the cute little pumpkin hats. I let the kiddos just watercolor theirs. So this is Olivia and Silas's. And then I just use a strip of construction paper. And you can even do like, we don't even need this much for their little tiny heads. Like when I stapled Olivia's, I had way too much left over. So you can just staple on a little thing and then it fits for their little pumpkin patch crown. And there's a couple different ones. They're all like little different shapes. So you could let them pick whatever shape pumpkin they want, or if you've got siblings, each of the siblings could do their own. And then the rest of the week, they're gonna use scissors, highlight the letter B. They're gonna cut out 2 pumpkins and glue it on there too. And then the Lego print is super fun. You can either use the little Legos, you can do the big Duplo Legos to print, but I just put a little bit of glue on a plate and let them dip it in and then press it all around their pumpkin. But yeah, you could use any or give them multiple shapes, whatever sounds like fun to you. And then for day 3, same thing, but a little bit trickier, a little bit harder. This one's gonna be really tricky for their scissors. And then we've got the making a bunny. So I let them color it, any color bunny they want. You could even cut out ears with construction paper or just draw it. You could use markers. Sometimes it's even fun to do like a little puff ball for the nose or glue on a googly eye. Just kind of make it fun and entertaining to talk about. The bee says buh, buh, buh. And then we're going on a shape hunt. And you could have them bingo dot it. You could have them use markers, glitter glue, paint, like get creative. If they're over crayons, then pull out whatever you have. I mean, find something that interests them. Like they could, like glitter glue is usually hip. So you could glitter glue the colors. I mean, seriously, get creative with it. And then we're gonna do a life cycle project. So after talking about it, oops, sorry. After talking about the life cycle all week long, we're gonna see if they can put it together. They might need a little bit of help putting all the pieces on here, but see if they can do it. Ask them like, what comes next? What comes next? And see if they can make the whole circle by themselves. If not, just help them, okay? But yeah, I think that's it for the week. Have lots of fun. Reach out to me if you need help, where they're getting stuck, what you're getting frustrated with. I would love to help you. So I hope you guys have a super awesome week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.